Have you ever heard of people winning the lottery multiple times? It sounds outrageous, but if you think about it this way, the way I'm about to explain what I'm calling the snowball effect or method or technique, whatever you want to call it, once you have proof that something is possible, it solidifies it in your subconscious as a reality or a realistic option or possibility. So I want you to start accepting coincidence as manifestations because they are. You're giving away your credit. So, hi, I'm Melissa, and I'm here to spark something within you that will help you on your journey. And I'm going to teach you, share with you what I call the snowball method, or whatever you want to call it, for manifesting, or how it relates to manifestation. So, when you feel like nothing's going your way, you've hit a wall with your manifestations, you're feeling blocked, this will help get the ball rolling. Law of inertia says that an object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon by something else. And an object at rest stays at rest unless acted upon by an outside force. You are that force. So if you roll a small snowball down a hill, not only does it become unstoppable, it's also gathering more snow as it goes, which is adding to the momentum. Thinking of it in a physics kind of perspective. So I'm going to do a little bit of like an analogy or like a comparison here, or I can't think of the other word that I'm thinking of, but you know what I mean. So I'm going to compare this in a kind of scientific-y way, but not meta-scientific. Anyways, back to my script. So we're rolling a snowball down a hill, and it's gathering momentum, and it's gathering more snow. So we're looking at the law of inertia, and we're looking at the law of attraction, because the law of attraction states that which is likened to itself is drawn. So as hold on. Yes, like the snow compounding on itself, as it's rolling down, it's picking up speed and momentum, as do your manifestations or your intentions when you're manifesting. So I challenge you to ride your snowball. Imagine a snowball within you that constantly collects snow manifestations. As it gets bigger and you collect more and more of them, they get bigger as well. So, next page. Look, I'm being transparent here. I'm not going to memorize scripts. Usually I'm off the cuff, but this really kind of came to me all at once. I feel like it was kind of an intuitive message. You want to call it a download, that's fine with me. I don't really like to use like catchy buzzwords for things like this, but I did have to write it down, and like I felt as I was writing it that I needed to stick to it and not try and be off the cuff with this one. So bear with me, transparency. I am totally reading a script that I wrote. So it's similar to winning a winning streak. Like we're going back to the lottery analogy, right? It creates an energy of winning that radiates out and increases its radius. So it's not only is it continuously moving, it's also gaining in size. Think of it that way, as the energy is building. So if you think of your manifestation as a snowball, it starts off small, you're compacting it, you're putting in your intentions, you're doing your meditations, whatever you're doing, you're building this snowball, and it gets to a size where you can just kind of push it down a hill and let it gain its own momentum. Okay, so how are we going to do this? How can you implement this? What I'm challenging you to do. So start considering all of your lucky encounters, coincidences, synchronicities, etc. as manifestations. So traffic was easy because you listened to yourself when you had the urge to check your app for traffic accidents on your way on this trip. You listened to your intuition. That was you. You got to where you needed to go. There were no traffic accidents. There was no issues. Your road was clear because you thought ahead to double check, right? So that's on you. You did that. It wasn't the universe that cleared the roads open for you. You thought ahead and you trusted yourself. That was you. So take credit for your own actions when it comes to these things. A lot of times we try to kind of give credit away, like the whole lucky girl syndrome that was very trendy for a while and then got controversial and like kind of blew out of proportion. I don't really like the whole lucky girl thing because it gives your power away. You're in control of this. You're creating your reality. It's not, luck implies an outside coincidence, and that's not what we're doing here. We're creating our reality. So another example. So you had the urge to check for accidents to avoid because a song was on your mind. Like you listened to something popped in your head and it gave you the idea to do this. And you played it while you were driving. So you were just in a better mood. So things that might have normally bothered you while you're driving or might have been a nuisance in some way or a detour or a blockage didn't bother you, so you didn't notice it because you were playing a song that popped in your head. You trusted your gut and you're like, play that song, and you played that song, and so you were just in a better mood and you avoided those things because they weren't in your perception at that time because you trusted yourself. That's you. That's not the universe or God trying to, like do something nice for you just because. It's because you set it up that way. So, you'd found a $20 bill in your driveway, right? Not because somebody left it there for you or it blew into your driveway. It's because you were paying attention to your surroundings. If you weren't paying attention to your surroundings, you may not have noticed that $20 bill laying on the ground right next to your car. You would have probably stepped on it or walked over it or not even noticed it or walked a different way around your car. You were paying attention to your surroundings and you found money. So that's also you. You did that. You were paying attention. So give yourself the credit that you deserve. So let's go back to the snowball kind of thing here. So the smallest snowball can grow enormously as long as the momentum continues. Riding the momentum is how you're going to continue it. So you're the driving force behind this snowball, okay? Your snowball isn't picking up more snow if it thinks it's concrete. So again, give yourself the credit you deserve. You created the snowball. You rolled it until it was big enough to roll with a push on its own. You hopped on and rode it down the hill, right? This is all you. So what I would say to encourage you to help you ride the momentum, I'm going to go back to journaling. It's a big thing in my life. I make journals, I design prompt journals, and I do all of that stuff. And if you're interested in the workbooks and that, there's a link, obviously. But write them down. Write down the even if you think it's just a coincidence, write down your coincidences. Write down your synchronicities. And not just for the journaling aspect of writing it and putting it in writing in a physical form that you can see, and using your body to write. That's a big part of journaling. And they say things that you write down have a higher chance of manifesting because you're making it physical with words. Besides that, I want you to reflect on it, read them, because as you read these coincidences and you think of what led up to the coincidence and what actions you took to influence these coincidences, then that's when your subconscious starts to really understand and get it, that it is possible that you have an influence over these good things happening to you. So for Metaphysical Monday, that's what I'm encouraging you to do, is write them down, feel the accomplishment, feel how you took part in that action. Okay, let the feeling guide you to the next manifestation. Follow that. And Bashar likes to say, he has a system for manifesting, I guess, kind of. It's not exactly, if you looked up Bashar manifesting system, you might be able to find it, but that's not what he calls it, and I can't remember. But he says, follow your highest excitement. And, if it's exciting to you, go for it, because that excitement, that feeling inside you that is eager to do something, that's your intuition telling you that's the path, take that path. And then when that no longer feels exciting for you, something else feels exciting, then there's a new path for you to follow. And it builds on itself. So every small win, every coincidence, every synchronicity that you write down, that's a manifestation of your work, your intention, and your trust in yourself. So I would suggest, if you can't just do this mentally, if you're not good with visualizations or any of that kind of stuff, and you do enjoy writing or reading, I would encourage you to write down even just the smallest things. Write them all down and reread them. When you're feeling like you've hit a wall with your manifestations, go back and read through like a journal or a notebook or an app, whatever you want to use, and tap into the feeling of when you wrote it, of when you experienced it, and also reflect on what intention, what you were doing when that happened, what you were feeling or thinking when that happened, that influenced the outcome that you were not expecting. And I feel like that's why we attribute a lot of things to luck, is because if we aren't expecting it, then we couldn't have had anything to do with it. But that's not true, because that's kind of the best way to manifest. Those are the best manifestations, are the ones that you weren't expecting, or that showed up in a way that you couldn't have even imagined. And I feel like that's kind of what the universe likes to do. They like to surprise you. That, if you're expecting a specific amount of money and it comes, it's a little less exciting than if it was unexpected and it was just like a refund or a rebate that you didn't even sign up for. That feels a little bit different. So tap into that feeling, because when you're not expecting it, I feel like those manifestations are the big wins. So definitely pay attention to, how you started the day when you had this day. What was the first thing you did when you woke up? Start that snowball in your head, and then build it down into your heart where it can grow and start attracting bigger and better things, and make your snowball bigger and better, and ride that snowball down the hill to whatever big manifestations. So I feel like a lot of people think they can't manifest big things because it's just harder to get. There's a lot more cogs in the wheel of getting it there. But if you picture, I'm thinking about getting out the steampunk deck. If you picture, I'm done with my script. I'm totally off the cuff now, by the way. If you picture like steampunk stuff, because a lot of people don't really know. Here, it's right here. Let me show you just the back of the card. You see all these cogs and wheels and things, and this one spins to spin this one, and this one spins after this one spins. You gotta spin this one to get this one rolling. And if you think about the snowball in those terms, you have to start the small wheel, and the small wheel turns the bigger wheel, and the bigger wheel turns out the biggest wheel. And so if you think about it that way as well, that's kind of what you're doing. You're starting with the small things to get that beginning statement that I made about like a winning streak in the lottery, or winning the lottery multiple times, because it solidifies it in your mind. So when you start getting those little small wins, which you would consider coincidences or synchronicities, when you allow them to sink in and really solidify as, okay, I am taking part in creating these things for myself, then as it slowly builds in your mind, and like that snowball getting bigger, it's gonna get even more solid as a possibility for these things. And the more solid they feel emotionally, the not faster, but the more prominently you're going to start experiencing these things in your life. I do have a Metaphysical Monday video from a while back where I talked about how I realized a lot of the things that had happened in my life were manifestations, but at the time that they happened, I didn't realize they were manifestations. Pregnancies, for one thing. I was trying to manifest. Here's a little personal story. I was trying to manifest a second child. We tried for 6-ish years. My 2 older children are 10 years apart. And I didn't realize when I found out that I was pregnant. Like, I always was like, I took so many pregnancy tests, 6 years of an infertility journey. Like, if you know, you know. Took so many pregnancy tests. And every time it felt like I was holding a lottery ticket and waiting for the numbers to be called on the TV, just watching it, and that one time when I wasn't expecting it, because things weren't ideal at that time, but we were still trying. Um, that one time, that's exactly what it felt like when I saw that second line. It felt like winning the lottery. It felt like that last ball of the lottery numbers dropped and it was a match. And that's how it felt. But what I didn't realize at the time was those 6 years, it was building and building and building from all of the little actions I was taking. Losing weight was one of them. I weighed over 200 pounds. And the doctors were baffled at why, like, I don't know why you're not having cycles. Maybe it's because you're overweight. If the studies show if you lose 10% of your body weight, which 209 pounds, I ended up losing 60 pounds total before I got pregnant. But I lost 20 pounds and there was no change. But those actions, the losing weight, the seeing a different doctor, decisions that you make influence your manifestations, whether you're making those decisions for a manifestation or not. So that's just one of the things that I realized I had manifested without realizing that that's what I was doing. And yes, I had already been through the law of attraction journey, like the beginning, like the beginner level, The Secret movie and all of that. I was already practicing that, but it was so new, I didn't realize all of the subtle nuances that went along with manifesting, the energy work that goes along with it, and that sort of thing. So counting all of those little things, I think in the video that I did do about manifestation a while back, I think I talked about my car. Yes, it was about my car. And every time I saw that car, I just said, oh, there's my car. Oh, there's my car. And then just one day out of the blue, my husband texted me on my way home from work and said, hey, meet me at the car dealership. I want you to take this car for a test ride. And it was exactly the car that I wanted. Yes, I told him. But again, I told him that I wanted that car. That was the car that I wanted. And one day we'll have that car and all of that stuff. That is putting in the work. That doesn't make it not a manifestation because you said what you wanted, you paid for it, yes, I got the car that I wanted. The how, that journey, that is not for me to decide. It's for me to put out there and gain that energy and build that momentum toward it. So during those times, I was manifesting other little things and playing with the law of attraction a little bit, just a little bit. I made a vision board for paying off all of our credit debt, and we were working toward paying off the credit debt. So while you're working on one manifestation, the energy you're putting into that is applying to multiple manifestations. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to leave that there because this video is probably twice as long as it was intended to be. But I hope that you got something out of this that might help you. I hope I sparked something that will inspire you to take some sort of action or have a realization of some of the manifestations that you took part in that maybe you didn't realize. So, and use that, if you have that spark from this video, use that to gain momentum and roll your snowball down that hill. I will see you in the next video. Always remember that the magic you seek is within.